King's Quest VII: The Princess Bride is a point-and-click adventure game released in 1994. The title, of course, is in reference to The Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies, but it also refers to the marriage of Princess Rosella, or rather, the fact that she's not married, and the fact that, frankly, she could not seem less interested in it.
You're going to be a bride. Yes, I'm so excited. I want to run and hide.
I mean, if breaking out into an epic Disney-esque song doesn't get that across, then I just don't know what will. She and Queen Valanice get separated during the intro, of which I will say only this. Rosella jumps into a magic pool for about the worst, least tempting reason I have ever seen. Valanice jumps in after her, gives her some serious pointy eyes, I mean look at those things. And that's how they end up in the magical land of Eldritch. Now Valanice and Rosella have to wander around, click on things, exclaim and gasp, and deal with well-animated calamities as they try to find each other again. The plot alternates between Queen Valanice and Princess Rosella, with both as playable characters as they uncover an evil plot.
Revolting beast!
The game begins with Valanice in the desert as she begins to search for her daughter. As long as you don't pester a pale stranger, anger the gods and drown in a well, get pierced by a giant scorpion, or drink salt water. Seriously, salt water? If you can avoid all that, you will make it to the next chapter in one piece. Chapter 2 then switches to Rosella in the Troll Kingdom, where she learns that Eldritch is ruled by a sorceress named Militia. Yeah, she isn't evil or anything. I won't spoil the rest of the plot, but I'll just say the overall story is charming if simple. Switching between the two protagonists gives it a fresh feel and allows for more frequent cliffhangers. It also puts a nice spotlight on a middle-aged female protagonist, which I just don't think we see very often, Valanice.
Only your varicose veins save you from being completely colorless.
In an attempt to appeal to a younger audience, King's Quest VII departed from the art style used in previous games in the series and instead adopted graphics similar to those used in Disney movies. Although the story deals with a sinister sorcerer's evil plot, it's definitely family-friendly, or at least I think it is. I sure as hell haven't seen a Disney princess look like that. Honestly, there were so many scenes that scared the shit out of me as a kid. Anyone remember the Boogeyman? So I had more fun watching my older sister play it. Ah, the nostalgia. Anyways, King's Quest VII is also easier than previous games in the series. The interface is simpler, and the cursor lights up when it's over an object you can interact with, which spares players from pixel hunting, a common plague of adventure games. You wander across the land by clicking on the edges of the screen. When there's a path to take, the cursor, which is usually in the shape of a wand, turns into an arrow. This is pretty much all you need in order to move from screen to screen and acquire the many items that you'll need in order to solve the puzzles. I won't say the puzzles are incredibly imaginative, and they're nearly all inventory based, but they're going to be manageable for players willing to pay the slightest bit of attention and click on everything. Death isn't as punishing either, since there are checkpoints at very forgiving locations. And while it's still filled with challenging puzzles and tricky situations, you can put yourself in an unwinnable situation, which was possible in earlier King's Quest games. As you can imagine, these changes were controversial. Some players didn't like it being an easier game, and the cartoony graphics turned others away. It didn't help that King's Quest VI was both darker and extremely popular, giving its sequel a lot to live up to, but the simpler interface and lessened difficulty makes King's Quest VII more accessible and intuitive, and there's nothing wrong with that. Cartoony or not, its graphics and animations are beautiful, the gameplay and puzzles are solid as well, and the story is enjoyable and charming. It has a few ties to the rest of the series, but it was designed to be a game you could start even if you've never played King's Quest before. In fact, this was the only King's Quest game I owned as a child, and I was genuinely disappointed when I found out the other King's Quest games weren't similar. King's Quest VII has a few other notable differences from the rest of the King's Quest adventure games. Not only does it switch between two playable characters, but it's also divided into 6 chapters, which takes the characters across the various regions of Eldritch. It is the only game not to include Graham. In fact, King Graham isn't even mentioned at all. Oh no! What am I supposed to do without my muscly Chippendales king? Strangely though, Graham can be found in the game's audio files. This suggests he was originally planned to appear. The initial plan for the game was much longer, but it was shortened so it would fit on a single disc. While we don't know for sure what was cut, there's a good chance that's what happened to Graham. The voice actors deserve credit for their role in making this game stand out.
And the shadows of the forest sing to my blood.
Valanice sounds like a warbly, less composed version of Snow White.
It really is time you thought about getting married.
She's ever so upset and startled by every little thing, whether she's running into a scorpion the size of a coffin or picking up a clay pot to see what's inside. I guess that can be expected though, when your superpower is to cry on command. Rosella keeps it together a little better, and let's be honest, they both look good while doing it. And that's because the game looks great. It really does feel like being in charge of a Disney movie. The animation style reminds me of the quality and vibe of 101 Dalmatians era Disney. The music's not bad either. The tracks are fun, lively, and have an appropriate amount of beeps and boops in them. King's Quest, way before the internet. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Beep beep boop boop bop. Again! Unfortunately, the game suffered from bugs and glitches in part due to the new animation style. Crashes, freezing, and a speed glitch made certain sections impossible, and other problems plagued the game. Patches were released to fix these issues, but players using modern computers might encounter additional difficulties that require patches to fix. Additionally, there are some spots that drag, which you can skip by fast-forwarding after you've seen them once. You can't, however, speed up the characters as they walk across the screen. So if you're going to traverse 4 featureless screens of desert, you're going to watch your character take every step. Valanice, could you move your ass a little faster, please? Thank you. Okay, so here and there you may encounter a few bugs and minor annoyances, but nothing prohibitive. In fact, this is a surprisingly propulsive game. It's truly fun to watch the story unfold, and there are so many characters and things to keep track of that it's easy to see King's Quest VII for the labor of love that it is. Longtime fans will find much to love here, and for any weirdos who stumble into Part 7 instead of starting at the beginning like well-adjusted humans, will still get a quick handle on how much the series deserves its spot in the King's Quest franchise. The game could only be more irresistible if the object was to marry Purple Rain era prince, instead of just listening to Rosella wring her four-fingered hands about marrying a prince. Given and play. Now, if only there was a way to equalize the tremolo in Valanice's voice. I bet Prince would know how to do it. Thank you so much for watching my King's Quest VII review. I hope you give the game a try. Click on the bonus TV if you want to watch my sister and I play through the game. Or check out my recent review on the boner shrinking toil that is Honeycam Studio by clicking the TV that says next. Much love!